Today's video, healing from shame. All right, we've all experienced it. We all grew up with it, and some of us never let it go. All right, and then we do things like people pleasing and leaving ourselves behind and putting ourselves last. So healing from shame, understanding and letting go. Also, I'm going to put on some videos on the screen here as well that is going to go along with what I have to say. And then at the very end, I'll share a very important video so you can start down the road of not caring so much about what people think of you. All right. This video is from me to you men who want to change your lives. And I hope that you do, because I did, and I'm making videos, So anyways, understanding and healing from shame. If you have childhood wounds from being raised by someone who was neglectful or abusive. Do you know someone like that? Maybe your parents. For me, it was my parents. Obviously that shaped me, for many years, and maybe it did the same thing for you. Or if you were bullied or rejected by classmates, also will cause shame. Maybe you likely have deep feelings of shame if you've been bullied, rejected, or your parents neglected you or abused you. Shame can also be a result of adult abuse or rejection. Shame and guilt are similar feelings. The difference is that shame is far more detrimental because guilt implies you did something morally wrong, whereas shame means you are wrong. Like, what am I talking about? Shame, guilt. I'm an older man, and society seems to have a problem with me liking adult women between the ages of 18 and 25. And most of you might have something to say about that, but they are adults and I'm an adult. And the thing is, like I said, I will leave videos on this screen when I do my editing to back up what I'm saying. What you may not know or be aware of, for you men watching the video and ladies, your school teachers love 11 through 15-year-old boys. And it's a problem in Texas. It's an epidemic in Texas and other schools. And I'll leave a video to explain why that is. Also, the psychology of why women, married women who are school teachers, are married, right? And still have sex with 11, 13-year-old boys. You see, I enjoy adult women from 18 to 25. They're adults. You see, these school teachers are doing something far worse. They're sleeping with underage boys. So that's the problem. Okay? So now society wants to guilt me and shame me for attracting and dating 18 through 25-year-old women. You see the hypocrisy and the guilt and the shame that is taught to you. So we all perpetrate it sooner or later. Okay, that's the point. All right. So like I said, I will leave videos to back up what I'm saying. So let's continue with the article here. So instead of thinking I did something monumentally stupid, guilt with shame, you believe I am monumentally stupid. The difference between guilt and shame is very clear. In theory, we feel guilty for what we do. I don't feel guilty for what I do. Men and women try to guilt me. Because I'll give you examples. There was this guy named Fred that I was working with once, and he was the manager. And I only worked there three times, 4 times max. So I wasn't there. I wasn't bought into the whole I'm here to work, hoorah. I'm just here for a couple of days, do what I want and go home. So anyways, this man got jealous of, girls liking me. Girls would come up to me and they would say, hey, I finished all the work that he put me to do, put me to work. So I was like, cool, there's help. So I put them to work. These girls liked me and I liked them. And he was trying to guilt me because the girls liked me and so on and so forth. Eventually he was so jealous that he, changed whatever. All of a sudden they didn't talk to me anymore. Okay? Because, this man was married and the girls didn't like him and he was in a position of power and, he got his butt hurt because they should be loving me. Well, you're married and overweight and girls don't like you. So that's on you. Another thing that I run into too is there was this lady that I was working with once and she was married, had 3 kids and had a husband. But according to her, she didn't know where he was. Anyways, she talked to me about how she was having sex with younger men and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And somebody just currently broke her heart and how she's fucking the boss and how she's fucking the guy next to me. And it's like she was sleeping with everybody. And so anyways, there's this 20-year-old girl who likes me and I like her because I do. And so we start talking. And so then, she was talking. Anyways, she saw that we were talking this and that. Anyways, she was talking to me in passing, after a while. And she's like, well, blah, blah, blah. I think she's a little too young for you. And it's like, look what you're doing. You're married with 3 kids, don't know where your husband is, you're getting ran through, you're sleeping with the boss, and you're sleeping with this douchebag that has pictures of you in his phone. So, you see how people try to guilt you even though they're fucked up? That's why I don't listen to people. That's why I do what I want. And you should do the same. And I will leave videos showing you how not to care so much about what people think of you, because most people aren't doing the right thing either. All right. Men, between the ages of 33 through 44, these men are the biggest simps. There's the biggest simps who are on OnlyFans. And guess what kind of girls, young women, are on OnlyFans? 18 through 25. So these hypocrites who sit here and say, I'm going to shame you because girls like you and they'll date you. Well, the only thing that you're upset about is that you are jerking off to some girl on a screen and those girls like me. That's your problem. Okay? Guilt. That's what people try to do. Guilt me and shame me because I do what they can't. Cause of shame. Here we go. Childhood trauma or neglect. That is what this show is about. That is what I do here on this channel. Abuse, neglect, sexual abuse, drug addiction, alcohol addiction. Those are the things and the topics that you will find here, because those are all the things that I went through in my life. And I'm talking about it because 75% of us have gone through some sort of trauma or neglect by our parents or a loved one or an intimate partner. We all are more alike than different. Okay, so childhood trauma or neglect causes the shame. You were told you were not enough or you were compared to other children. I want you to think of something. Think of when you were a child, all right? Or maybe you've seen a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old. There's nothing that a 3 or a 4-year-old could do wrong, right? Everybody loves it. It falls down. People are like, oh, let's go get him or her up. There's nothing wrong that they could do. But isn't it weird that as you start getting older, hey, you shouldn't do this because I don't like this about you. Now, if you do this, then I'm not going to like you. So then we start changing ourselves, our character to fit into society. Like, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. I have a buddy, his son was graduating from high school. And so he needed to turn in a paper. And in order for him to get an A, he had to go along with what everybody else was going to be putting into this paper. And, he was making this paper about getting married and this and that and having kids and why it's a good idea. And, the kid was saying, well, I don't believe in marriage and this and that. And, so the moral of the story is that he had to lie about wanting a family to get an A, to pass, even though he doesn't believe in it. This is what I'm talking about, okay? So as you grow up, people start telling you who you shouldn't be. This channel, and my belief, is you do shadow work. And shadow work are all the aspects of what people told you not to be, to embrace those parts of who they told you not to be. For example, like my mother, you're too much like your father. You remind me of him, blah, blah, blah. Man hater. That's who my mother is, a man hater. And guess what makes my sisters man haters as well. All right. They don't talk much, but they like to chit chat and bitch a lot. This is what women do. When you hear women complaining about men, it's more about shaming men. They don't talk to you, they shame you. Okay. So most of these women out here getting ran through. And guess what, men? Don't listen to these women. Why? Because they're whores. They're 304s. They're for the streets. And they have no moral standing whatsoever, okay, on your life. So be a man, all right? Shoulders back, head up high, because you're a man. You should love yourself, all right? So anyways, causes of shame, rejection, right? We've all been there. All right. Nobody likes getting rejected, especially nowadays with these women that are so cold and so cold-hearted that they just want to do it just to piss you off because they're hateful, because they listened to some person in college saying you should hate men. Men were so mean to you. To who? Self-criticism causes shame. Perfectionism, self-blame also causes shame. Being the victim of bullying or abuse causes shame. Shame is the intensely painful feeling or experiencing of believing that believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. Sometimes I feel that way. Sometimes we all feel that way. And if you felt that way, leave a comment. How it made you feel, okay? One is particularly vulnerable to shame in adolescence. Acceptance is so vital at this age. There's a lot of young women who like older men. This is how it is, fellas. All right? Your mother, your aunt, your sister, all sleep with older men. Okay? Why do women sleep with older men? Because women like older men because they tend to know what they're doing in the bedroom. That is why women love older men. Where men are the opposite, we want less hands in the cookie jar, because with more hands in the cookie jar, they can't bond to us. And that's why we do things. That's why we get in relationships, for a bond. All right? You grow up constantly feeling like you are not enough if you have shame. As a result, you shut down, become defensive, or constantly feel the need to please others and therefore loss of your identity. The rejection leads to deep shame. The ostracism can feel like your own death. Shame strips you of your identity. It robs you of your dignity. You walk hunched over because you want to hide. And if you feel this way, men, I'm sorry you feel this way. The world hates us, bro. You know how it is. All right. And then we can't talk about it. Then we're throttled. Like for me on this channel already, I only have a couple subscribers and shadow ban because I'm talking about real things, because the world doesn't give a fuck about you or me. That's why we should empower each other. And that's why I make these videos to empower men, because we deserve better. And that's why I do what I do. All right. Shame strips you of your identity. It robs you of your dignity. You walk hunched over because you want to hide. You carry those traumatic experiences in your body throughout your adult life. Do you see what I had to get away from having sex with women? All right. What you may not understand is that I had sex with women for 32 years straight. All right. 32 years straight. Women from all over the US, Hawaii. Yes, it's part of the US. Also overseas. It just happens. All right. 32 years straight of having sex with women. I took a 12-year hiatus because, you know, they all do the same thing. From 18 through 65, women do all the same thing. What is it? They like you, they show you they like you, and then they come over about 5 steps away from you and show you their ass. I'm like, man, fuck, for real? From 18 to 65-year-old women, they all do the same thing? How boring. Yes, I'm bored with women because they all do the same fucking boring thing. Nothing new. You carry these traumatic experiences in your body throughout your adult life. Your nervous system is dysregulated, and you continue to self-sabotage without understanding. Shame is in many ways the most powerful emotion because of the way it sneaks up and just takes over the person's organism from the inside. This is why women and society use shame against men. Do not let these women, like, for example, Mia Khalifa. Oh, I think that a man shouldn't have sex with a young girl because it's disgusting. Newsflash, Mia, when you were young, you were fucking way older men, all right? They were in their 30s and 40s, all right? If memory serves correct, most men who do porn are in their 40s. And if you enter doing porn, well, guess what? It's when you were 18. So you were sleeping with older men. You see the hypocrisy? These 304s, these women for the streets want to come over and shame you. That's why the system allows them to shame you, because it gets inside of you. That's why they do it. Say no to shame from women from the streets. All right? Somatic healing practices. We're almost done, okay? It took a course. I'm going to be reading this, okay? And I'm going to be using the word I, but not I, okay? I took a course with Dr. Peter Levine on somatic healing, it reads here. In the class, I learned how to use gentle body awareness and movement to heal trauma. That's what you have. Trauma. We all have it. So shame is a trauma response no matter what caused it. whether harsh words, you will never get this right, you should not be like your father, you remind me of your father, neglect or abuse or bullying. Dr. Levine taught that when we straighten our spine and lengthen the back to open the chest and the heart space, hey man, that's right, be proud to be a man. Stand up straight, you're a man. You are needed. So we can experience a sense of pride. Pride is the opposite of shame. It is so important that someone suffering from shame reclaims their power and dignity. That is why I am making this video, because you need to get your power back, brother. All right? They need to practice self-love and acceptance. If you've been following my channel long, for the past year, I speak about self-love and acceptance of who you are and the things you've done, and you shouldn't carry shame. All right. Now that the spine is long and straight and the chest is open, I encourage my clients to take one step further. I have them stretch their arms out wide to the side like an airplane, with their fingers stretched wide. Now they are fully expanded. Then I instruct them to hug themselves. And I encourage you to do this for yourself. What it's saying is, give yourself a hug. Yes, it doesn't sound manly, but fucking guess what? You fucking need it, bro. We all need each other and a hug. So hug yourself. This is a great shoulder stretch and reinforces the self-love they lack in adolescence. This is so important because it affects the rest of your life. Signs of shame, okay? Low self-esteem, perfectionism, addictions, social problems, and people pleasing. If you have any of these, things caused because you have shame, hey man, you should be proud of being a man. No matter what anybody says, you should be proud, all right? Let go who you think you are, all right? Supposed to be. Let go of who you think you are supposed to be. Embrace who you are. And there's nothing wrong with who you are. Like for me, I accept the fact that young women, adult women, all right, guess what? These women, 18 through 25, guess what they were just told? Hey, you might be drafted. So if these young adult women can go die for this country, guess what? I get to date them. And there's nothing that any of you can say about it. I don't care if you're someone down here or the president of the United States. I don't give a shit. No one is gonna shame me because I like what I like. And this is what you should be like, men. Not giving a fuck. And don't let society shame you for being a man. Final thoughts. Here we go. Self-study and somatic healing will help overcome shame and replace those hurtful feelings and more empowering ones. Yoga, meditation, quiet walks in the woods, and reading self-help books. Okay? It says, books help me to recover from PTSD and feeling of shame. And is what I want you to do is to recover from people shaming you. You are an individual and you love what you love, and there's nothing wrong with what you love, bro. Don't let these women and 304s and She's for the Streets shame you, because these women are doing nothing good themselves, bro. They put themselves in the most disgusting, sexual positions to get gratification because that is who they think they are inside. Okay? Don't let women shame you. All right. So anyways, yoga, meditation, quiet walks will help you. All right. So although time alone is healthy, I also recommend social activities. Surrounding yourself with a solid support group that inspires and encourages you will facilitate your journey. Finding a hobby like this for me you enjoy will help you build confidence and self-esteem, replacing feelings of self-worth. You see what I'm saying? Find a hobby, find something you love. Maybe it's fishing. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, you do it, okay? So lastly, remember that when people talk badly to you or about you, it is likely far more about low self-esteem than anything to do with you. Remember that, with you. So whenever you hear all these women on TikTok, YouTube, complaining about men, it's with them. It's their self-esteem. That's why they do nothing but shame men. So don't take this personal. The older I get, the more I find this to be true. And guess what? What you should be thinking is, you're gonna die anyways, buddy. You're gonna die sooner or later. So why not do what you want? Because we're all gonna end up dead. Like I said, I'm gonna leave some videos on this video here so you can go and watch these videos. That'll help you because I want you to become a fucking strong and independent man away from guilt and shame from these women in society. And remember, I will see you in a later video.